Welcome everybody to this reset and reflect webinar. We're going to be celebrating success today. It's a really, really wonderful opportunity today to pause and take stock and reflect somewhat around our year of action and activity, and really take a moment to pause and come up for air, which I'm trying to do at the moment, and trying to calm an overstimulated nervous system as I speak to you right now. Because I'm going to do a short presentation. We're just going to, as I say, take an opportunity today to pause and reflect, and hopefully we can do that as we journey through just a short presentation here before we go into reflections with Justyna and hopefully Anna Marie as well. So let's see how we get on. As you've probably gathered, IT is one of my nemesis. Give me a high five. Can you guys see the? There you go. Nice. I didn't even need to finish, but fantastic. There you go. So you guys can see the slide deck, which is wonderful. Okay, fabulous. Here we go. Right. Okay, let's do it. So as I said, today is that wonderful opportunity to pause and come up for a bit of air. And give me a high five. Do you agree with this, that well-being is a bit of a moving target? Give me a high five. Does that resonate with you? Or a yes in the chat? Well-being is certainly a bit of a moving target. Certainly in this fast-paced kind of world that we live in, where we're always switched on, we're always rushing from one task to another task. We're barely taking a moment to come up for air at points throughout our days and our weeks and our months. And we can tend, can't we, sometimes to really overlook the importance of reflection and really noticing not just where we're going, because that's clearly very important, isn't it? To notice what direction we're going in, what are my goals? How am I moving forward with my goals? What are my ambitions? What's next for me? But also to pause and notice actually how far we've journeyed. Peter Drucker says, follow effective action with quiet reflection. From that quiet reflection will come even more effective action. And reflection really is wonderful. It enables us to really examine our actions, our decisions. It enables us to examine our outcomes with that critical eye that we have. That wonderful opportunity that we can give ourselves to spin that wonderful perception that we all have, but spin it around and just take a moment to look inward and see what we can notice. It really encourages us, doesn't it, to pause and ask ourselves really wonderful questions like, what did I learn from that experience? What have I learned this year? How can I improve this year? What am I most? What are you most proud of this year? And when we engage in this process of reflection, we can really begin to unpick and uncover those insights that have perhaps gone unnoticed in the heat of the moment as we kind of travel through life. So taking a moment to look in the rearview mirror and say, do you know what? Actually, look at how far I've traveled. Look at how much movement. Look at how much progress I have accomplished. So yes, it's important to move and have a focus and a drive, but it's also a wonderfully beneficial activity, and not, of course, to forget that reflection fosters resilience, doesn't it? By examining our successes and our failures, we can develop that growth mindset, which is wonderful because it challenges us to notice opportunities for learning and improvement as well. So yes, how can we cultivate the habit of reflection? What do you do to let me ask you very quickly, whatever jumped into your brain straight away, what do you do to cultivate a habit of reflection? What helps you when it comes to reflection around your progress? What do you do? Yeah, great stuff. Someone straight in there with journaling, with prayer, just that quiet time. Hopefully today we've given you a bit of a platform to take the opportunity today to give yourself some freedom and some space to just pause and come up for air. Analogy I use often when we deliver the workshops and the webinars is that if you're cutting your way through a jungle and you're busy and efficient. Give me a high five. Do you sometimes get to the end of the day and feel like you've been really, really busy, but haven't got much done? Does that resonate with some of us, right? I've been so busy today. Oh, what did you do? Oh, not much. Yeah. So what can we do to pause and really discover, are we heading in the right direction? So giving yourself that platform today just to notice it is that first step, and that's wonderful. So thank you so much for doing that and investing in you. Super. So the first question that we asked you was, what was your biggest success for 2023? And I'm going to expand on that by asking you the second question. Hopefully you can connect with this, and it's up on your screen at the moment, which is, what one action or behavior or mindset do you feel has contributed most to that achievement, your biggest success in 2023? Take a moment to pause around this reflection so we start to notice, what one thing did we prioritize that we feel really did contribute to my success last year? Again, whatever jumps into your brain, intuitively just feel like you want to share it. Remember, today there's hopefully there's no judgment here. Feel free to share this much or this much. It's entirely up to you. There's no judgment. Oh, lovely. So we've got commitment. Oh, being like a dog with a bone. Interesting analogy. And what would it feel like to let that bone go sometimes? Self-awareness has been up there. Prioritizing work-home balance. Love that. I'd really like to unpick more about that, but that's wonderful. Really lovely reflections. Fantastic. Okay. Weight lifted. Lovely. Working with a really supportive team, working with other people. Wowza. Really, really nice reflections. Thank you so much. Could sit and read those all day long. Really good stuff. Thank you. Okay. Let's jump on to the next slide here, because I'm going to invite you all now to really pause, and we're going to do an awareness and a self-evaluation activity just in the next 5-10 minutes here before we start to have a chat with Justyna and hopefully Anna. We'll see how we go. Anna Marie, I should say. Now, when it comes to dropping the anchor here, we're going to focus on really what a good life means. And experiencing a good life is really unique and personal to you. Give me a high five. Do you agree? Do you feel like when it comes to happiness and what a good life is, it's incredibly specific and unique to you, isn't it? Because it might be different for me. So a good life is very unique and personal to you. A good life is multidimensional. It's not merely about happiness and about positive emotions. There are more factors, there are more dimensions that are definitely going to influence what a good life really means for you. Now, Carol Riff's model here of psychological well-being provides quite a powerful and useful framework through which we can really analyze and organize our life. And it also generates and helps us generate ideas about how to live a better life, whatever that means for us. So I'm going to invite you to rate each of these criteria. Now, there are 6 criteria here of well-being, and I'm going to talk to you about them and describe them to you. And I'd like you to pause and just self-evaluate on out of 10. Give yourself a scaling measurement out of 10. Is this something that comes naturally to you and you feel that you're quite good at, or it resonates with you quite well, or the opposite? So let's take a moment just to pause and reflect around these areas of well-being. So the first is self-acceptance. So here, acknowledging and accepting that, you are who you are. Now, feel free to share the numbers in the chat function if you want to, and have that immediate kind of reflection. And you can feedback the answers if you want to in the chat function. I definitely encourage you to write down each of these criteria and the score that you give yourself. So the first is self-acceptance, high self-acceptance, that you possess that positive attitude towards yourself. You accept that there's multiple aspects really that you accept about yourself, the good qualities and the bad qualities, and you feel positive about your past life as well. And low self-acceptance, you feel dissatisfied with yourself. You're troubled about some of the personal qualities you have. You wish some of these qualities could be a bit different that you have, and that would be kind of, you feel dissatisfied. Has everyone got a number? Give me a high five. Have you taken a moment or two just to give yourself a number? Fabulous stuff. And again, there's absolutely no judgment. This is a wonderful opportunity to pause and resonate. This is extremely specific and unique to you, right? This is how you feel at the moment. Great stuff. Okay, so the next category here is personal growth. And here, I guess, you know, you have that feeling of continual development. You see yourself as growing, learning, and expanding over time. So perhaps you have strong personal growth. You'd be up there in those higher numbers. Perhaps you're open to new experiences. You have that sense of realizing your potential. And one is you have weak personal growth. You have that sense of personal stagnation. Perhaps you feel bored or uninterested in life, and you feel unable to develop new attitudes or behaviors. Has everyone got a number? Nice one. Take that opportunity today to pause and reflect around these key dimensions when it comes to our well-being and progress. Okay, and the next one here is purpose and life. So here, perhaps you feel that sense of goal-directedness. Perhaps there's a sense of meaning to your past and your present life. You feel that you do have aims and objectives for living. You do have that purpose, and you have that strong purpose in life. And a weak purpose in life would be those lower numbers. You lack that sense of meaning in your life. This is such an interesting one for me, because, you know, we talk about you know, purpose as being such an important part of things like happiness. And I love asking a question. I'm going to invite you to share as well your reflections, instant reflections, whatever jumps into your brain. What aspects of your life give you a real sense of purpose and meaning? So what are some of the things that you do, or some of the things that you've done in the past year that give you a real sense of purpose, directedness, ambition, you know, the objectives? Whatever jumps in, and you notice that lots of things that pop up here are family. Doing good for others. Yeah. So when I pause and think about this question, it always takes me back to, you know, helping and supporting training, getting some positive feedback, you know, positive recognition, those sorts of things. Helping and supporting people to achieve the things that they want to achieve gives me a good sense of purpose, gives me a great sense of purpose. Helping other people, yeah, lovely. So giving and contributing for me, it lands with me when I ask that question. Okay, wonderful reflections as always, fantastic. Okay, so the next one, the fourth criteria here is positive relations with others. So you have perhaps warm and satisfying and trusting relationships with other people, and you're capable of strong empathy and affection. And that would be those higher numbers. That would be those higher numbers. Perhaps you have strong relations. You're able to nurture new and existing relationships and develop those effectively. Weak relations in others means you have perhaps few close relationships. You find it difficult to be warm and open, and find it difficult to feel concerned about others. How would you score yourself with this one? I feel I score myself quite high with this one. Wouldn't it be interesting to ask the people around you to get that feedback? That'd be interesting. Okay, wonderful reflect. Has everyone got a number? And there's no right or wrong. Give me a high five. There's no right or wrong answer, right? It's just a reflection on where you feel you are sitting with this at the moment. If you score yourself low, that's an honest and true reflection of how you feel at the moment, and there's nothing wrong with the number. What I will say is, if you score yourself low, and you know, especially when we start to think of overall well-being, and it's you know, between 1 and 4, then it's okay to reach out and ask for support. Give me a high five. Do we all agree it's okay to reach out and ask for support? Sometimes we can feel quite difficult in doing that, but if you notice, you know, just plant that seed and reach out. And interestingly, give me a high five. Do you know who you would go and talk to if there was a challenge? Knowing who to reach out to is as important, isn't it, as well? So brilliant. Okay, we've all got a number for relations. The next one is environmental mastery. So here it's, I guess, having a sense of mastery and competence in managing your environment. So making effective use of your surrounding opportunities. Do you create an environment that sets you up for success? Or do you have difficulty managing, everyday activities? Are you unaware of your surroundings? Do you find it difficult? Do you lack a sense of control around your environment? No worries. Thanks for that, Lynn. Has everyone got a number just around their environmental mastery? And consider that idea that your environment precedes your success. Do you set yourself up for success? Do you create an environment that gives you no alternative but to be successful? Nice one. Okay, I'm conscious of time because I really want to talk with Justyna as well. And here comes the last criteria for the psychological well-being from the model of Carol Riff's model, which is autonomy. Again, a really, really crucial, important part when it comes to our well-being and health and progress. So are you self-determining and independent? Are you able to resist social pressures and think and act for yourself? Are you able to regulate your behavior from within? You don't get affected by society or what people say or what they feel that you should do. So where do you sit on this one? Do you have high autonomy? Do you feel like you can evaluate yourself and take control and take accountability? Or do you have low autonomy? You feel you're concerned about the expectations, evaluations of others? I guess for me, sometimes it jumps up and down. The imposter syndrome kind of, especially when I'm concerned about the expectations of others, sometimes makes me think, makes me wonder. There you go. Okay, so has everyone got a number for each of these activity criteria? Hopefully you have. And I'm going to ask now, which did you score yourself the highest? Write that down in the chat function. Which of these criteria did you score yourself the highest? Share it with me in the chat function. Nice. Personal growth for one person. Autonomy for another. Good stuff. And which did you score yourself the lowest? So which of these would you perhaps want to develop more if you had an opportunity to focus and develop a little bit more? Which one would you like to develop a little bit more? So I guess what then, if anything, do you feel has been the most important learning for you in the last 12 months? Take a moment to reflect around that question as well. What, if anything, do you feel has been the most important learning for you in the last 12 months? What a wonderful question. Oh, crikey. Dinner table question. There you go. Around the dinner table tonight. Here's a question for you to ask. Oh, I love that. There you go. Learning to say no or not right now. Oh, I love that one as well. Being the best you can be in the time that you have. Give me a high five. Does that resonate with us? We can only do the best we can with what we have. And we can only deal with what's in front of us. So that's lovely reflection. Learning, self-acceptance, setting boundaries, really, really wonderful reflections. Awesome. To look after myself, to prioritize myself. And gratitude, self-care. Yeah, wonderful stuff, everybody. Love that. Okay, I have noticed. Hello, Anna Marie. Let me come out of that. I wonder if Anna Marie. I wonder if she. Let me do this. Bear with me, everybody. I know I will get there. Honestly, at some point. Anna Marie. There we go. Hopefully, Anna Marie, you can turn your camera on now. I don't know if you're there.
I am here. I'm just trying to work out how to put my camera on, if that makes sense. Hang on. Yay! Hello, everyone.
Success. I think between us all, we've had at least 3 kittens, me, you, and Justyna. We're going to, Anna-Marie, welcome. We're going to jump straight into it because hopefully everybody enjoyed just that quick opportunity there just to pause and reflect around certain elements of their well-being and their progress. And I hope everybody found it useful to take that time to review it and to be open and honest with ourselves and just pause and just say, well, this is where I'm at the moment. So well done, Anna-Marie, for making it on board. Success. Super duper. Well done, you. Anna-Marie, do you want to just tell everyone a little bit about you and your role?
Yeah, of course. So I'm the Assistant Director for Strategic Planning and Management Information at Goldings Homes. We're a housing association and we look after about 8,000 properties and we have about 300 staff. And I started my wellbeing journey. I've only been at Golding Homes about 20 months. So when I arrived, they gave me the opportunity to do the Recalibrate Wellbeing Programme. And I grabbed that with both hands because I knew something needed to change in life. So that was February 22. And then in April, I actually went through the ambassador programme myself because I thought this is really good and I want to spread that learning. And then I became an ambassador at the end of last year, and I ran my first ambassador program at the beginning of this year.
Crikey. So we were talking about celebrating success today. I think there's lots to talk about there. So that's really, really wonderful. And so you completed the ambassador training and became a wellbeing ambassador within your workplace. And how was that training? How has you becoming an ambassador impacted perhaps the people around you or the workplace in any way?
So for me, I think behaviour breeds behaviour, right? So I didn't want this to be just another tick box exercise that just people saw it as a fad. So I made it my mission to be my business as usual. And what I mean by that is if I stop and chat to someone in the corridor and they're talking about, sitting at their desk for long periods of time, I start to talk to them about movement medicine and I say about the importance of that. And if I sit with someone in the canteen and we're eating lunch and someone has a KFC and they're saying, oh, I'm being really naughty, other fast food outlets are available, of course, I'll just and they say I'm being really naughty, I challenge the language that they're using around their nutrition. And also I talk to people that are really, we live busy lives and, you see people and you just have a second to sort of sit and talk to someone who's looking really anxious, like something's going on for them, offering to sit with them just for a coffee for 5 minutes maybe and chat through to them about their control circles. So I've made it my mission not to have something, okay, yeah, we can do the ambassador program, but as a senior leader at Golding and to embed this into the whole culture of the organisation, it has to be part of our arsenal and the tools and our BAU.
Yeah, fabulous. I mean, that's the key. And we talk about it a lot, right? We talk about the first steps in any change is self-awareness. And we talk about it a lot in the ambassador training as well. Is one of the most important things that we can do is to engage people. We can't make anybody do anything, right? The best way to make anybody do anything is to make them want to do it. How do we do that? Just by talking with them, and just raising awareness is that first step, which is really, really wonderful. And did you within your organization then, because that's wonderful to celebrate that, pause and celebrate that for a moment, that's great, but did you within your organization create accountability groups as well? Did you kind of lead anyone else through the program?
Yeah, so as I said, I led a group through in January, and I think something that really resonates with me from the wellbeing program, and also I've been a trainer in a past life, is that first attempt in learning. Okay. And I think as adults, we don't, if you like, sit and breathe and appreciate just the learning that comes, the new things you do as adults. There's not as much to celebrate. When you're a small child, you grow up and, your first 3 months, you're smiling and then you're feeding yourself. But as adults, that slows down in time. So with a growth mindset, thinking about that failing, when I took the group through, I think the biggest lesson I learned was in the exercise week. And they'd all sort of said to me on the call that they don't do exercise. And I was like, you know, this is just about a 1% progress experiment. You signed up to this, you know, this is what you signed up for. And lo and behold, the next week when we came and I said, how did it go trying the 1% progress experiment? And then none of them had tested it. None of them had done it. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Like, have I not explained? Like, what, you know, the deadly silence. How am I going to get over this? And I remember ringing you going, no one's done the progress experiment. Like, what conversation do I have with them? And I was panicking. And you said something just a minute ago about you can lead a horse to water if you like, but you can't make it drink. They've got to want to do it for themselves. And we spoke about that reflection, about what brought them on the journey in the first place, and to play that back to them because they'd written down their commitments. So I really learned something there, because I thought I was failing, but it actually isn't about failing. It was about them understanding why they'd joined the program in the first place. However, I think I rang you after the next week when we sort of did a bit of reflection on how their week had gone before. They said to me, oh, I've got a gym instructor. I've signed up to, you know, the works gym. I've gone out and I've done a bit of gardening. And it was almost like, oh, they have actually tried something. Yeah. But it was, the learning for me was, I thought I'd failed as an ambassador. I thought, why were they not on that journey? And actually, I should have been using that mirror and reflecting it back on them.
Yeah. And it's so, I think one of the first things I said today while you were trying to join, while we were all bouncing around, was that well-being is a bit of a moving target for all of us. And, you know, we'll go through different periods of motivation. It comes in like waves, doesn't it? Some days you wake up, you're like, come on, bring it on, bring the world on, I am ready. And other days it's like, oh, just do not give me space today. And I guess it's that relationship, isn't it, between accountability and responsibility, you know. And as an ambassador, the responsibility is that, you know, I'll be here for support. I can provide, you know, this direction, and, you know, here's some information. The accountability is, okay, well, what can you do when we talk about autonomy and accountability? But really, really lovely stuff. And so what's been your biggest, then, you know, if you were going to celebrate your biggest success this year, what would be your biggest success when you reflect, Hannah Marie?
So personally or for the organisation?
Oh, I don't know. I think we're all interested. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Wellbeing is a moving target. And so one of the objectives that I set myself for this year, if you like, on the 1st of January was my social wellbeing. So I wanted to get involved in more clubs and things that were in my local area. And I did that. I got involved in a community orchard. I got involved in a singing group and we did a show. I really pushed my own personal boundaries, which was really good, meeting new people. That's always scary. But again, because I wanted the wellbeing program to be part of my BAU, there's been things like, instead of taking cakes to the group, I've been taking like fruit salads and things like that. So, you know, it's really just making it business as usual. As an organisation, the wellbeing program has allowed us to have another tool in our arsenal. So we have a lot of programs like big corporations, you know, you have like your Simply Health or your like free private, not private care, but you know what I mean, that sort of thing. We have a gym, we have the wellbeing program, we have mind buddies, which are available for colleagues in terms of their mental health. And all of that package of health and well-being and culture, we use Mary Gober's theories as well, has allowed the language to change in the organization. So what I mean by that is Mary Gober talks about control circles. So does the wellbeing program. Mary Gober talks about being, you know, in the black and in the red, the black being positive and the red being negative. And you'll go to meetings and people will say, I'm feeling really in the red today. And we'll say, well, how do we get you back in the black? You know, how do we get you quick? So it's given a language to maybe people find it difficult to express their mental well-being. And as a result of that, we have cut absence management by a half. So this time last year where we were, as a result of a package of leadership that we've provided, including that well-being program, we have slashed our absence management. Yeah.
Well, get that. That's wonderful. I think that needs a high five from me. There you go. High five. Fabulous. Well done. I guess a really interesting question that, you know, we asked, you know, what's been your biggest success? Let me pose that question back to you, back to the audience. You know, what do you feel has been your biggest success personally, perhaps with your well-being this year, and perhaps professionally? Then you use the word organization, Anna Marie. So let me ask the audience, people listening, if you're watching it on a recording, pause it, have a little think. You know, what's been your biggest success this year, personally or professionally? Nice one. Well done. You're getting a few well dones in the old chat function there, which is great. There we go. Appreciation, celebrating other people's success. Really, really wonderful. So fabulous. Look at that. So we've got, you know, someone's dropped 50 pounds as being the biggest success that they've noticed. Really wonderful stuff. Okay, Anna Marie, thank you so much for your passion and your insights and your stories. Really, really lovely stuff. If I can ask you to pop your camera off and pop yourself on mute. I've got the lovely Justyna waiting in the stalls here just to jump on. So Justyna, are you there?
I am here, yes.
There we go. So what a relief there. Anna Marie turned up.
Yes.
There we go. So we were talking about it earlier on. So Justyna, tell us a little bit about then your story with wellbeing and the last year, 12 months for you.
Well, so I joined as wellbeing manager. I've been with the company for 17 years, and I joined as wellbeing manager 18 months ago. So before I actually came into my new role as a company, we kind of wanted to increase our wellbeing offering. VINCI Facilities wanted to, you know, increase their wellbeing offering. And one of the decisions that were made before I became into post was to introduce the Recalibrate program. They've spoken to you guys, and we'd implemented that. So as when I came into my role, we already had some people who had completed the Recalibrate program and had become wellbeing ambassadors. And so I kind of felt, in a way, I didn't really know much about the Recalibrate program. I thought I better just try it, see what it's about if I'm going to be speaking about it. So I kind of did it because I kind of had to, really. And then it's only after I did it, I kind of realized the benefit it gave me personally, and then how much is going to benefit our teams. It's, you know, you kind of went through week by week. I went through it, and I've actually completed the program probably about 4 or 5 times now. I joined some of the coach-led support sessions that you're running, and I've done it personally sort of 2 or 3 times, and I just realized the benefits of it, and everything I now do around wellbeing, even consciously or subconsciously, it all relates back to the Recalibrate program. So it's a journey that I've been on now for 18 months, and I just think it's going to continue, and one that I kind of really just want to bring all our teams on. We had a conference earlier in the year in November, and my main aim was not that I actually want everybody to complete the program. I would love them to, but I want them to be aware of it and that it's there. And, you know, I've had so much positive feedback about it. And it's kind of, people, you know, some people be instantly like blown away from it. Other people take a bit of a slow burn, or they get on to sort of week 3, 4, and then they'll realize, oh, okay, there's some really, really good stuff here. And as I said, for me, it's been probably like 18 months on, I'm realizing more the impact that the program has for me personally, and, you know, for our teams.
Yeah, that's a really, really lovely reflection. And also the acknowledging that time is a factor, right, to change. I think we can all agree, you know, sometimes we expect these life transformations to happen overnight, especially when we make changes in our well-being, don't we? Well, I'm putting in lots of effort to change my well-being. I expect to see lots of change. But That's
It's a bit like when you go on a diet, isn't it? You go on a diet and you sort of think, oh, I'm going to be, eat really well and exercise for a week and I'm going to lose, a stone. But it's not. It's like it's a 6-month process, and that's exactly with wellbeing. It just takes time, and I think if you just continue that journey, small steps, 1% progress. It just 6 months later, a year later, you sort of don't realize where you get to. I think you do sort of realize, but it does take time. Yeah.
And within your organization, it's a large organization. You've managed to kind of certify a number of ambassadors, and how have they been implementing well-being within the workplace?
Well, if it wasn't for our ambassadors, I mean, we wouldn't achieve anything, or we wouldn't achieve half as much as what we have. So we have about 80 certified ambassadors, and they are, honestly, they're just amazing. They have done, so we've implemented, so one of my roles as well when I first started was that we had some ambassadors and we wanted them to be supported. We wanted them to be encouraged to kind of, implement what they've learned throughout the business. So that was, one of my main aims. And then we have now, we have 4 or 5 regions within the business, and each business has wellbeing ambassadors. We have quarterly forums that we meet, and they're just amazing. They're so different that all the regions are kind of doing great stuff on the wellbeing, but all quite different stuff. And so they're sort of learning from each other. And then in November this month, as I just said, we had a conference. It was the first time that all our ambassadors across the regions met together. So they all showcased the great stuff that they've been doing. They were, honestly, I mean, I can't name them all, but some of the ambassadors they've just taken the wellbeing program on. We've got Mia Ward and Gary Hanks in our Building Solutions. They're just doing amazing stuff. We've got Sue Wells in our FM business, Jackie Avell and Kerry. They're just doing some fantastic stuff. And then we've got I don't want to miss them out. We've got in our defence, we've got Christy doing fantastic stuff as well.
And what are they doing, Justyna?
Well, so they're doing, so we've got in one of our FM businesses, we've got the Denton office, and they just do, so each ambassador sort of takes 1 month on. So they just implement all different sort of wellbeing campaigns. So this month, Jackie has taken on December, and they've done this kind of snakes and ladder thing, and they've got every day they're doing, or every sort of 1 day a week, they're sort of doing different things. Like they've got a jar they've got, and everybody puts in a wellbeing message, and then a week later everybody takes out one wellbeing message and does that. They're going to start a wellbeing book club, which is something that came from the conference. We handed out some wellbeing books, so they're starting a wellbeing book club there. Our defence team are also doing something similar. We've got they've got, I think Jackie's, I've been told she's got the Grinch coming in and doing something with the team. So that's one thing. Our defence teams are really taking on this so mad. We have 2 days a year that we can sort of additional days off. We don't take leave for it, and we can go out and help do support stuff within the community. So they're doing massive amounts on there. Yeah. We've got, as I said, in our Building Solutions, this Gary and Mia, who are just what they do on their site. So recently it was Romania Day, so they went out to the night before. They were cooking all these Romanian foods and going around to the Romanian shops to buy authentic food in. They came in the morning, like 5, 6 in the morning, and were cooking. I think it was 5 in the morning. They were cooking up eggs and serving it all out at 6 in the morning. And they got all the teams in. And it's just like they're just developing stuff. And now I just feel the ambassadors have got the autonomy to kind of go. Autonomy is one of the things that you spoke about, that they can go out and they can do these things, whatever they think is going to work within their sites, because we are quite a large organization. We've got over 2,500 people, so it's different areas we work in, and it's just I mean, I could talk about them forever, but it's all down to them, basically.
I love it. I love the passion in your voice, the pride that you have, and today is that opportunity, as we've been saying throughout the session today, is to pause and celebrate success, not just in ourselves, but also to champion others as well. That's what you're doing, right? You champion other people. But I want to draw it back in on you, Justyna. So what's been your biggest kind of success for you this year?
Well, I think I'm not very good really at, it is interesting sort of listening to you now. Sort of you look back and you think, what have you achieved? And I'm definitely one of those people that, I'm busy. And they're like, what have I done? I'm like, oh God, I don't know really, have I done anything? But you do look back, and the main thing that I feel I've achieved is that when I started my role, which was 18 months ago, that we kind of had a wellbeing offering there. But as same things Anne-Marie said about this tick box exercise, I didn't want our wellbeing to be a tick box exercise. I mean, these things are important. So we had an EAP, we've introduced a Recalibrate program, we had our ambassadors, and they're all great. So if you put down what do we do in wellbeing, fantastic. Yeah, you've got all this stuff in place. We had sort of monthly initiatives that went out, but I really wanted our teams to focus on what our teams wanted and what they really needed on the wellbeing side. And I really feel we've kind of implemented that. We've kind of created an open and supportive work culture, I guess, where our teams do feel encouraged to sort of go ahead and talk about their health and wellbeing and bring these initiatives in that they do, and to kind of, stimulate, I suppose, a proactive approach to wellbeing.
Yeah.
And one of the main things, or probably the most requested subject that people spoke to me about was the menopause. And they were like, what are we doing about menopause? What are we doing about menopause? Men also came up to me and said, my partner, this, that, and the women came up and said, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I was like, oh God, I really want to do something, but I'm just not sure. And I was kind of waiting until Menopause Awareness Month, which came in October, but we then got a lunch and learn organised, and it was amazing. We got this fantastic company that came in. We had so many people, like over 400 people joined the call, and the questions that came out of it was just fantastic. And I'm really glad we were able to offer that, because that was the most requested subject. So it is what our teams want. So we have got these great and really important things in place, which are important, but what do our teams want? Tell us what we want. If we can do it, we will do it. And I think that's now a real belief that our well-being is real. It is proactive. It is, we are listening to our teams. What do you want? What can we do for you? And if we can make it work, we will make it work.
Nice reflection. Drawing it in on what is my success? What did I achieve last year? Because it's lovely that you're speaking about all the changes that's happening around the organisation, but you've made progress as well, Justyna. We talk fairly often, and I have to bring it to your attention. You've done okay. That's okay. You did a good job. So listen, thank you so much for sharing your reflections. I'm conscious of time, so I'm just gonna if you could keep your camera on. Justyna, because I just want to share just one slide. Anna-Marie, feel free to put your camera on as well and take yourself off mute, because I just want to share this last slide and invite everybody to answer really interesting reflection question. What's been your biggest success in 2023, and then celebrate their success with them. This is what we like to refer to, and both Justyna and Anna-Marie have both mentioned 1% progress experiment. So we're going to encourage everybody. Give me a high five. Is this something that you feel like you can do? Is this something that you feel like you can engage with, that you can experiment with by asking somebody, what's been your biggest success for 2023, and then celebrating with them their success, acknowledging them, being present, staying in the moment with them. We all know what it's like to be heard, right? So are we going to give that person the space and the opportunity and the platform just to pause and ask them and be genuinely and authentically interested in their answer? Is that something that we can do? Wonderful. Now, I'm also going to pose a question, and I'd like everybody, if you have some time now, because we're going to bring it to a close in the next few minutes, but please feel free to share your thoughts and reflections around this very last question, one of my most favorite questions. We had some really wonderful, so what does optimal wellbeing look like for you? We had a wonderful opportunity. Wellbeing people did some work with some celebrities recently, and we had several celebrities that I had a wonderful honor to interview and talk with, and this was the question that we asked them at the end, and we got some really lovely reflective answers. So what does optimal well-being look like to you for 2024? I'm going to ask everyone that's still attending here, if you haven't jumped off, share the answer to that question in the chat function. And I'm going to start by asking you, Anna-Marie, what does optimal well-being look like for you for 2024?
I think it's being the best I can be so that I can support colleagues, friends, and family. So it's about that thing of prioritizing yourself first, putting your oxygen mask on before helping others. I think that's what optimal well-being will mean for me for 2024.
Love. So prioritizing you more tomorrow than you did yesterday.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love yourself first. Absolutely.
I love that. We talk about that a lot, don't we? That's really lovely. Oh, that's amazing. Okay. And you know what? Sometimes that's all it takes, doesn't it? Just to bump ourselves up that priority, just a little bit.
Mm.
You know, imagine that ladder as a step from 1 to 100. It doesn't have to be a jump from 20 to 50, 20 to 21. Perfect. Perfect.
I think it's that resilience thing, isn't it? If you're not resilient, then how can you give yourself to others to be resilient?
Yeah.
So that optimum well-being, how do you build that resilience? The program helps you through those 1% progress experiments to prioritize yourself,
Yeah.
and to give that space to you. If you follow the program and then keep it your BAU, you're prioritizing yourself. So therefore, your resilience is higher for you to support others, because we're all busy, right? We've all got responsibilities. So, you know, when you sit with staff and they're talking about their worries, it's all that anxiety language. I must, I have to. And it's bringing them back to what do they really need.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And while I'm listening to your talk, but also trying to read some of these comments, which is outstanding. So what does optimal well-being mean to people? And here we've got some really, really powerful. It means self-confidence. It means presence and gratitude. It means happiness. It means relationships. Mm. It means concentrating on me.
I love the one, give myself permission.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I just noticed it. Yeah, lovely. Happy family, happy family, happy me, stronger like happiness. Love it. Wonderful, wonderful reflection. Thank you, Anna Marie. And Justyna, let's come to you. So wonderful question. What does optimal well-being look like to you for 2024?
Well, it's very similar. I mean, everything Anna Marie said and the comments is about that. But I think more specifically for me, what I've come to realize is, you know, kind of going back to the recalibrate, I've got 3 or 4 core elements that I need to focus on. I know if I focus on these, and it's nutrition, exercise, hydration, and movement. Those are my 4 core things I need to focus on. And when those are all good, everything else will kind of work. So I'm happy. I'm feeling well. I'm more resilient. And it's when those, but you look at everything, there are 12 elements. There's so many different things. We say well-being is it's massive, it's big. But I think for me, I have now tuned myself into what I need to, my 4 core elements, what I need to tick. And if I'm good in those, the sleep is good, everything else kind of falls into place. I'm better with my family, with my friends, and I'm just a stronger person. And as Anna Marie said, my biggest thing is resilience. My resilience was kind of quite low. If something would happen, my stress bucket would completely overflow, and I'd be like, oh God, I can't cope. But now I still kind of have that reaction, but I turn the tap off a lot quicker. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good now. I can still, I've got to deal with this, but I just feel I'm a stronger person. And, those are my kind of four key elements. So for me, is focusing on that and trying to keep those sort of 8+ next year.
I love that. I love that. Because it is those small things, right? It is those small things that can make a big difference. All of the things that we notice when we look at the chat function, happiness, gratitude, balance, presence, self-confidence, all these sorts of things, health, friendship, all of these are consequences of other behaviors that we need to implement.
Yeah, and finding more joy. How do you find more joy? I think you do, as Anna Marie said, it's like if you're good in yourself, it's those things, you can't pour from an empty cup, and all that kind of stuff. If you're good in yourself, you will be more joyful for yourself and for being able to support others as well. And
that's why this question is so useful, because it helps us identify that direction, right? So you wake up in the morning, I want to do X, or this is what I remember, I write it down every day. I've spout on about this, my optimal wellbeing goal, go for a walk when I'm 100 years old, holding my wife's hand, laughing and joking and reminiscing about a lovely life that we've experienced. I'm not getting hung up on how I get there just yet. I just know that there it is, it's over there. And you guys both know that there it is, it's over there. then we can start to begin to focus on the process, which is these 1% progress experiments, and prioritizing those as well. You guys have been awesome. I am taking a moment just to apologize to everyone for if there's any initial technical issues that we experienced. And let me congratulate both Justyna and Anna Marie on their IT skills, which they never thought they'd be hearing me say. So thank you both so much for your reflections and your stories and your passion around wellbeing. It's been very inspirational listening to you both. So thank you so much. I have launched a feedback poll, so please feel free to jump onto that feedback poll before you leave the session today. This session is being recorded and you will be able to access this at a later time. Thank you so much, everybody, especially Justyna and Anna Marie. And I hope everybody that's watching is going to be engaging and committing to their 1% progress experiment, which is to ask someone else, what's been your biggest success for 2023, and then celebrate their success with them. And then around the dinner table tonight, what does optimal wellbeing look like? And see what they say. You guys were awesome. Thank you also to all of the attendees for sharing and interacting as much as you have done. There have been some really outstanding reflections. So thank you for giving me the privilege to have a little bit of an insight into that reflection. So thank you so much, everybody. Outside of that, thanks again. I'm just saying loads of thank you now. Let's just finish the session, shall we? It is a Christmas jumper day, so I've been asked by my team to put a jumper on, but I thought I couldn't do it. I'm doing a webinar. I couldn't do it. But I'll do it now. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your day. Have a wonderful Christmas, and hopefully feel free to connect and see how we go. But thank you, Justyna. Thank you, Anna Marie.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks for having us. Thank you so much. It's been a joy. Lovely. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.